atheist I think I am. I love the Beatles, my mom, and a few very dear friends. I'll explain why, but before I start, let me tell you about one particular thing that annoys me. I hate it when people talk profoundly about questions but never give any answers. It's irritating when people say, oh, it's not about the answers, it's about the right questions, blah blah blah, no thank you. It's like what you see in those fortune cookies that you don't find it in Pakistan. Lekin, crappy philosophical quote that means nothing. Like I do agree that there are a few questions that cannot be answered, not in this physical life at least. Paradoxes, what are they? Pata nahi, too big a term for a teenager. Like they exist and it's nice to acknowledge them. Inbuilt questions, however, I know a bit. So, what is my question? Well, I have a ton, but I'll share one that I think is the most significant overall. What is this feeling and how do I get rid of it? I feel sad. I am truly, utterly sad. मुझसे बेड से उठा नहीं आता, मुझसे दांत ब्रश नहीं किए जाते, खाना टफ हो जाए, मुझे सब कुछ बुरा लगता है और मैं मरना चाहता हूँ. Does this have a name? I don't care if it does. Let's just call it X. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking that this is depression and oh, it clearly does have a name. But I'll name it X because in my life, the definition of depression has varied so much that I can't possibly settle on an answer. It's a paradox. The problem with X is that you basically lose control over your brain. You have little control of what goes on. Ironic. And it's just how it is. You can't change that. In my experience, the first thing you do is you find a new brain. Anything or anyone that isn't easily affected by this feeling, क्योंकि नहीं पीछे जाना है पीछे 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 thank you. Anything or anyone that has a brain that isn't easily affected by this feeling, because normally people tend to run away when they see X, and it's true, it's sad, it's okay. Fortunately for me, I decided on a brain that couldn't possibly be affected as it is immortal. I decided on 4 brains actually. That sounds weird, I'm sorry. It's a part of my story. Ye Charlo, the Beatles, they helped me figure out the answers at first. They gave me a sense of direction, a sense of opportunity, and most importantly, a sense of aesthetic. So the thing you instantly learn is that you have to start somewhere and you absolutely do need help shuru mein. And I think this is the case with almost everything. Sure, you're enough for yourself, life can't possibly go on without other people. So you just use it for your advantage. Design, maybe you need references and guides to come up with something. So when you're feeling X, there's this inability to convey how you feel and how you think. Communication is vital, it's an absolute necessity. बात करना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है. So there are of course multiple ways to say things. For me, it was graphic design. I made a poster every day to sort of show how I visually feel and how I think, and it helped me a lot. I made quite a few, I think these 5 are my favorites to this day. This one is about the idiotic consolation I received 84 times. Just be happy. Bas khush raho. Khush ho jao. What is that supposed to mean? I love emojis and I made one to show how I feel and how I respond to this idiotic request. I like curiosity, and it sort of got sorted and destroyed at the same time when I used Google. And there's this saying that nobody knows anything, Google knows everything, okay? I used an old font to add a biblical feature. This one, when you're feeling X, you feel as if all the things you love are turning into things you don't love. So I took a like and I twisted the icon enough until it became a dislike while making a poster. I think this one is self-explanatory. It's a clock that says doing nothing. And if you've had a sad, bad day, though, you know how it is. This one is my favorite by far. It's about the medication I took. It felt different each day, almost monotonous, but when I look back at it now, it's a colorful experience. And a color on its own may look a bit weird and dull. Like if it's all put together, it makes a nice rainbow, and I really like rainbows. Questions or paradoxes to design में भी होते हैं या any other part of life. I fuss about what colors to use, what typeface conveys the feel, या मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा हूँ. Lekin answers don't come if I sit and stare at the screen. They come through actions, and they don't even have to be specific. Most of my ideas came while I was in a car or on the toilet seat, so just keep moving. So, there will be questions and there will be problems that show obvious signs of not being answered. But the force that throws the questions at you will also give you a few answers and a tiny space for you to utilize, so you use it. You have to use it actually. My friends encouraged me to go see a doctor and my parents took me to one. Hi mama. ये लोग मेरे जवाब थे and I'll always be grateful to them. What I learned was that in this twisted world, different people know different answers about different things, and all you have to do is find them really. It may seem a bit hard at first, like it all comes to you eventually. But the thing is that there is no one way to solve a question, any question at all. For example, जब कोई शहद की मक्खी आती है, I've seen 3 basic responses. There's the wafter जो बात करते करते मक्खी को अपने पास से हटा देता है. There's the stay stiller जो बिल्कुल सीधा आता है, इसको भड़काओ नहीं तो मैं काट लेगी. और there's the total panicker जो मैं बिल्कुल पागल आता है और चीखना शुरू हो जाता है. लेकिन the thing is कि मक्खी कभी भी वॉफ्टर और टोटल पैनिकर को नहीं काटती, हमेशा स्टे स्टिल को काटती है. So the point is कि please don't stay still. You have to do something, anything to get rid of the problem. And there are definitely a lot of ways. Think of yourself like a captain. You've got this little boat, and sometimes the weather is good and you're just sailing. Like sometimes a big storm hits and you're in a stormy sea, but just ride it out. Ride it out because it's good to be alive and find answers to what lies on the other side. And please never be afraid to try something silly or weird, because that's the nicest way to learn new things. Everyone always thinks they're right. Lekin the problem is that there is no right. There are just multiple directions and you go for the way that suits you the most. Pyar karo, get a paper cut, get your hands dirty, spill some tea. You're bound to get hurt, and sure there aren't a lot of answers compared to the questions and it's unfair. Lekin what isn't? I made this in 2011. मैंने फेसबुक पर डाली, मैंने इसको खुद लाइक किया, मैंने इस पर खुद कमेंट किया, मैंने अपना कमेंट खुद लाइक किया. The only way you'll ever answer the paradox that lies inside you is to try new things. It may not make any sense at all at first, but it eventually all sort of ties together. This was my twisted tale, and the only way you'll find a cool shiny way to yours is to try new things. As the philosopher Jagger once said, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find that you get what you need. Thank you.